All right, folks, what is up? Welcome into the Rogue Squadron for this Tuesday, July 20th of 2021. Very happy to see everyone. Of course, we got a great panel for you. I don't know how many more people are on the way, but we have an all-star panel nonetheless. We've got my dude Makini Draws. What up, bro?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Rogue Squadron for you Tuesday afternoon. Please share and smash that like button.
We have one of the best all-around creators in our community when it comes to writing novels, writing comics, whatever you want to throw his way. Red Gaze is up in the house. The Gaze Agenda forever. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? Hell yeah, get on board with that Gaze Agenda.
That's right. That's right. And of course, right next to Red Gaze, we got my boy, the People's Champ, that be Etep Wakuyan of the Place to Be Reviews.
It is he, it is me, PWD, Etep Wakuyan of the Place to Be Reviews, right here at the Supreme Heretic on Rogue Entertainment. Hail to all of yous. Hail this wonderful panel of amazing people and this amazing chat on Rogue Entertainment, the best chat on YouTube. That's right, I am wearing this. Be jealous. But no, seriously, thank you, Drew, for having me on. It's always a blast here, and just hail to everybody out there, man. Let's have a great show.
Yeah, we're going to, because we got spicy topics to get into, and of course, the man, the myth, the legend when it comes to talking about mysteries of the unexplained phenomena. And you could catch him every Sunday. That be Enter the Unfamiliar, aka Final Death Star, aka J.J. Abrams' lost twin. What is going on?
I've got a lot of names and aliases now. I'm building up quite a collection.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you for having me on. Hail to everyone in the chat and this great panel. I love seeing you guys and getting to talk to you every Tuesday. Speaking of spicy, some topics tonight, huh?
Yo, yes, sir.
Heat, bringing the heat.
And last but not least, an awesome woman, an awesome artist, somebody who is an up-and-comer, especially in the comic skate scene, and that be Miriam, who, by the way, check out Through the Woods, and she's also working on Sunsworn with Gaze. So make sure that you check out her stuff, because she is amazingly talented, and she's actually in here classing up the joint. Let's be real. You got our crude asses, and then Miriam's in here classing up the joint. So there we go.
Hi.
Well, and we also have our boy, one of the other great artists in our community, and that be Vinny Tartamella, aka Vinny Art. What's up, my friend?
Hey, man, I heard you needed extra class, so I'm here.
There you go. It's the me, Vinny.
And he mentioned Through the Woods.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, unfortunately, no Walton today. Hopefully. He may show up surprisingly.
Hopefully no Walton today. Is that what I heard?
No, I said hopefully, sadly, no. I said sadly, no Walton.
Makini.
No, I said sadly, no Walton today, but we're hoping he just shows up surprised when he's done.
Did you call for the Astorian, the tree Storian? I am here because I was born in the chats, raised by the people in the woods to learn to love all trees.
Like I said, close enough.
Oh, God, that's good.
Oh, of course, we got one of my really good personal friends, one of the best mods on YouTube, period. One of the coolest dudes in our community, and that is Tommy the Guinea Pig Collective. What is up, my friend?
What's going on, y'all? It's good to see y'all. What's going on, Drew? How you doing today?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, boss. I'm actually, to be honest, just being around here with you guys, it cheers me up. I've been having a crap day. I had a toothache that hit about 4:30, and I was in like agonizing pain. Thankfully, I still had some of those pain meds I was taking for my back. So I popped 2 of those 600 milligram ibuprofen, popped up a little Oragel. And so, hey, I'm like feeling no pain right now. So we're good.
Feeling high.
Yep. I mean, it'd just be like, I got 5 on it.
Well, you know what? Quite honestly, after seeing all the stuff that has been coming through on the news on some of the ridiculous things that all these freaking politicians and these companies are doing, it's no wonder that all of us are not strung out on some kind of pain medications at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, touche, sir. Absolutely. So I want to get into my first story here because, we talk about current events and politics and whatnot, and I know a good portion of my audience and a number of our friends in the community tend to skew from the center kind of out to the right. We've got libertarians, we've got conservatives, we've got old school classic liberals. But, one thing that we could say about today, especially with the political parties, how big they are, the way that they function like corps anymore, sometimes they're really disingenuous. And this first story we have, let me go ahead and share screen here. This first story we have is about an adult film star, Brandy Love, and she identifies as a conservative. It's openly right there on her Twitter bio. She said, "I am a proud conservative." She's also in my line of work. She's also a journalist. Despite her interesting day job she has, she is a contributor and a writer for the Federalist, among other places. So she by the very definition is conservative. She's married. She is she's Catholic.
So Drew, what you're saying is she's one of my future ex-wives.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and it's important to know. Like I said, she's middle aged. She's like close to my age. She's 48. She's married. She's Catholic. She has kids. She's like typical school board mom. Except, she just happens to be involved in the adult industry, which, by the way, folks, understand that somebody that works in the adult industry, if they're working in the industry proper, and there's been people in our community that have interviewed Kenzie Taylor, they've interviewed Lacey Lennon. So we know things about the industry, and from talking to people like Axel Braun, it is a very regulated industry. That industry is probably more regulated than most, to be honest. Performers get tested all the time. They watch very carefully so that minors are not involved, and things have to be above board because the adult industry nowadays, as far as movies go, it runs like a mini Hollywood.
Hey, Drew.
Minus the pedos. Yeah.
Matt's brought up an interesting little comment right there, and I think that maybe either Vinny or Red or maybe even Miriam should get to work on this. Journalist by day, stripper by night. This could be a comic.
Well,
What's screw a comic? That's my life, man. You didn't know?
excellent.
I mean, can I partake in that too, Tommy? I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, sure. Why not? The more, the merrier, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys can get in a circle and work on this. Oh, wait a minute.
That sounds like something else.
Whoa.
But there was an event they had this weekend for Turning Point USA. I know a couple of people that were going to it. There's obviously our friend Jack Sobiek was going there. There were some other people that turned out there, and I believe President Trump was there. So, it was a big deal. And so a lot of conservatives wanted to go, to the Turning Point USA conference that they had. But the problem is, when Brandy tried to go, and mind you, she had bought tickets like anybody else. She had a VIP pass, her and her husband, who is, a conservative himself. She went just together with her husband. She wasn't, going out of her way. She wasn't like signing autographs or anything like that. She was just they were just going as husband and wife. Mm-hmm. She goes into the event, but she had posted on Twitter right before she was walking in and said, "It's good to be around, so many young conservatives. Gives me some hope for the future." Then she was inexplicably asked to leave. And, it really doesn't make any sense because, you can see here where she was just getting ready to go in. There's the VIP check-in, the whole 9 yards. And it's just, it's crazy. Now, they did say this revocation does not impact application to future events, and we hope you will consider applying again in the future in what the documentation they sent her afterwards, giving her a very hollow apology. Mm-hmm. But what happened was this really sparked a debate on Twitter. I picked it up, actually. I picked up the story initially by, I was scrolling through Twitter, and this lady that I follow, she goes by the handle Politabunny. It showed up on her feed, and this is a picture of Brandy Love. By the way, let me share this so people can get a reference here of what she looks like. So let's go ahead and share that. So that's Brandy Love right there. Just nice. Just so you know. So, but yeah, I got a hold of that story from seeing that on my feed, and the interesting thing about this is, you've got a segment of conservatives. I mean, obviously, a lot of them are Christians, Catholics, different denominations. We sort of have a huge segment of the religious, religious folks in the conservative movement. And I totally get that. But, at this juncture right now, with the way that wokeness is invading everything, with everything going on, you would think this is the time to be open and accepting to people that, want to come over and look at things through a different lens, instead of being all, uppity, moral high ground, like, well, it conflicts with my Christian values or something else. That attitude was what killed, the Republican Party for a lot of people in the 80s with the Satanic Panic. Because if you remember, folks, the PMRC and everything, that was bipartisan. And a lot of it had to do with Bible-thumping Republicans, and let's put the blame where it lies. So, your thoughts, folks.
I'm honestly not surprised. Mainly because I saw this happen before. Does anybody remember Gab?
Yes.
Okay, Gab, they made a big deal about touting it as, this is supposed to be a free speech platform. You can post whatever you want here. Mm-hmm. Well, they shot themselves in the foot because they came out saying that, pornography isn't free speech, when it kind of is.
It definitely operates in a gray area.
Yeah, a gray area. But yeah, that's what this reminds me of.
And when we talk about the adult industry or pornography, folks, we're differentiating the fact that, again, this is a regulated career industry. This is not like the really just absolute gross criminal child porn that they do nothing about on Twitter, by the way. They still don't. This is not that. The adult industry is regulated, and it is 100% legal, whether people like to admit that or not.
Can Can I add something in here, Drew?
Sure,
Because
go ahead.
I've had that woman Jennifer Thomas who was on my show. She's not herself a sex worker. She doesn't do that line of work, but she works with a lot of girls who do. They are sex workers, and it needs to be. It honestly, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. It needs to be legitimized. It's the world's oldest profession. And the problem is, once it's legitimized, the government's going to regulate it, and they're going to screw it up just like they did medical marijuana, because they'll dip their hands in that. But this is why the conservatives always get their ass beat. And I'm going to go Tim Pool here for a second, because as somebody who looks at this from a libertarian, like basically like I despise kind of elements of both sides. This is why the left always beats the shit out of the right, because here the right has a chance to draw in, just like in entertainment, in a potential base. You have a woman who's an adult entertainer, and a consenting adult who does things with her body that she wants to and she's paid money to under control, exchange of money for being in a film, an adult film, which is a legitimate profession. Yes, absolutely. There's been many Axel Braun parodies that are better than the regulars and Captain Marvel,
Yes.
notwithstanding. But in all seriousness, you could have brought in Brandy Love to the conservative side of things. You could have brought her to the Republican Party, and
well, she's still a registered Republican.
Well,
she said
okay.
she's not going anywhere.
She's still a registered Republican, but you could have made her a prominent, showing that you are willing to change and adapt with the times, which is why the left always beats the right in the social game, because the right is so stuck in that linear fucking mindset that they can't veer either way to goddamn, take a hold of something that could give them an advantage. And that just shows their stupidity from the top down with their leadership. It really does.
It does.
You know what,
But-
Etep, I would say that would be a good idea in theory, but we all know what would happen. The minute that they actually sat there and backed somebody like that, the left and the mainstream media would tear it apart for what it is, just pointing out, oh, well, it's bottom feeders that they're letting it. That would be the narrative they would push, and they would just make her look completely inconsequential.
And that's when, if they really had her fucking back, you don't play this pussy ass nice game. You come back and you fucking counterpunch with, oh, she's a scumbag. Well, let's talk about the people over here, and just start putting motherfuckers on blast finally, because this political, this they're playing guerrilla warfare right now. Sometimes you gotta aim the cannon right at the front door and knock that motherfucker down. And exactly that is the Republican Party's problems. They are too bitch made to just knock that door down, and they will not stand up to the left. They will not. They refuse to. They don't. No matter how much posturing they do, they will not stand up to the left. They refuse to.
Well, yeah,
you know what else it is?
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to say that it's also because these fuckers have something to hide. So
all
if they
of them do.
brought,
Absolutely.
if they brought on a porn star, a prostitute, whoever this person is, if they do something like that, well, then it's going to bring up questions again of what happened to Trump and that one scumbag lawyer. He was fighting for that one porn star.
Michael
Stormy
Avenatti.
Daniels?
Stormy Daniels,
And the Stormy Daniels shit. Like, it'll stir up that crap again. And then Republicans are nothing but a bunch of perverts and blah, blah, blah. Well, we know what the real story is.
Well, they always play the blame game. They take what they are and then
It's always like a reverse projection with them. So that's their tactic that the left always uses.
It's a no-win situation because on one hand you say, well, yeah, you could invite her in and promote her, and then the left will say, oh, like everything you guys said, oh, it's a scumbag move, they're bottom feeders, blah blah blah, they're whatever, they're sex maniacs, whatever you want to say. And then on the other hand, if you are trying to fight the image of bigotry, which the right is trying to fight that, because of course the left is projecting that onto them. That also doesn't help your case. If you're going to not let her in, I mean, that kind of feeds into the fact, the whole name calling thing. But if you try to fight that, then they can blame you. They can push it on you for those reasons too. It's like with the left, there's no win situation. Either way,
absolutely.
Because logic doesn't matter.
It is a no-win situation. I mean, look at the fact that they actually backed. Oh God, why am I blanking on her name now? The The one that won the one was a man, the Olympic athlete.
Oh,
Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner. I don't
Bruce
know why
Jenner.
I was
Bruce
blanking
Jenner.
on that name, but they backed
Yeah.
her, and look how quickly the left went and dismantled that and just tore it apart and
Yep.
just tore into her
Yeah.
and tore into the Republican Party for backing somebody like her.
Right.
I mean, this is the problem that you actually have, because there are a few like news media outlets that are trying to fight against this freaking narrative that the left is pushing out, but they keep getting buried by the mainstream media, who is actually controlling the flow of information. They're getting pushed to the fringes. They're being told that everything that they're putting out is it's nonsense, that it's counterproductive to the country. I mean, this is the narrative that they've been pushing for a long time. I mean, you actually had it to the point where Fox was actually starting to bring in more liberals and leftist ideologues into their company, and look where that took them.
Well, I can understand to a degree. Okay, like the understanding that, you know, the whole wanting to get back to the God and country thing, that's fine. There's a counter, there's a balance to that, and you know, in God we trust should still be a thing, yes, but at the same time, you know, we can't overstep our bounds and become, you know, the judge of people, because if you're a Christian, then you understand that, you know, ultimately, you know, Jesus is the judge of people. You know,
we talked about this on Sunday, Drew, when we brought this topic up. You know, and I said, as a Christian, I mean, you're not really supposed to throw people out. First of all, this isn't a church. You know, we're talking about a political event. It's not a church, and even if it were, you know, the whole point of Christianity is to, you know, you're supposed to spread the gospel, and if someone is not only Republican, but they identify as Catholic, you know, a Christian, I mean, throwing them out, that's not really the Christian thing to do either. I understand like the lifestyle thing, you know, and as a Christian, you shouldn't go along with that kind of thing. But still, look, no one's perfect. And you're right. Jesus is the only judge, you know, to a Christian. That's the standard, and we all fall short. And we shouldn't be throwing people out who are willingly wanting to participate. You know,
yes, exactly.
That we're not, like you said, we're not the judge, and you're not supposed to throw people out like that.
Exactly, you know, because you know, and because right now that's a big thing with the left. Look at the rampant Puritanism that the left has, and theirs is really warped. Okay, and then, you know, so we don't need to have folks on you know, on the other side of the aisle, you know, as far as the conservatives go, and start being the same way. Because again, I go back to the old days of the PMRC and how, you know, it had gotten like that. There was a climate like that, obviously, because they were censoring music, they were censoring games, they were censoring books, they were censoring everything left and right. The whole satanic panic era, it left a bad taste in people's mouths coming out on the backside of it, and that's in the 90s how we got people like the Clintons in.
Yeah, well, I mean, they went after they went after everything, even movies. I mean, that's where a lot of our rating systems for the movies came from. It came from that PMRC era. I mean, a lot of people forget that, because it started with records, and then it went to video games and books, and movies, and if it didn't actually get stopped and get shut down because people got sick of hearing it, it would have kept going. It's basically what we're going through now is pretty much a rehash of that nonsense.
Almost, Tommy, and that's a good point, because it's weird how the pattern is almost, you know, repeating itself, huh? I mean, it's pretty crazy, but that's a good point.
Circle, man. Life is a circle.
But the thing with Brandy that I stuck by her about it, you know, when I threw my 2 cents in on Twitter when I saw that, was the fact that, you know, ultimately she's in the same profession I am, where, you know, she's contributing to a publication, you know, and that makes her every bit a writer, and that makes her every bit a journalist when you're a contributor like that and you're covering stories. So, you know, I stood by her as a member of the independent media, and you know, just based on that, I don't think that they should have asked her to politely leave the event, because they didn't like forcibly eject her or anything. They asked her politely to leave, and she did. But, you know, it just it's just kind of sanctimonious behavior, and I didn't really care for it. And there was a big debate going on among the whole among conservative Twitter about it for and I think it's still going, but not as fast and furious obviously as it was the day it happened. But yeah. So I don't think that she should have been asked to leave, but that's just me.
No, they should have welcomed her, man. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, your party's hurting right now because you're struggling to find a new base, and then you're going to turn away, somebody who could potentially be, if not, like I said, make it mainstream because what the left will do, and that snowball gets rolling downhill, but kind of use it as a slight bridge into that community just to show that you're friends with them. You're not gonna castigate them. You're not gonna shame people for for their proclivities unless they're a furry. Then in that case, fuck them. Fuck them.
Can you steal cars on your own time, Machiny?
Hey, Machiny, are you gonna pop the hood ornament off and drop it in the
Exactly.
He didn't even say nothing. He just turned off his camera. He's like, "Shit, they got me."
What? Ezep is right. Fuck Wookiees. Those furries. And in her defense, you guys know how my career started, right?
Yeah.
I was a carpenter / sex worker.
Nice. There you go.
Steven Spielberg and his friend George Lucas, they asked me to build something while I was banging their wives. And I became a big Hollywood star. So, yeah, sex workers are okay. Don't worry about them. Where was I? Oh, yeah.
That's great. Daniel H.C. Jung, he says, I saw an interview with nice.
Steven's
that's your mom's nickname.
Yeah,
there was an appearance by the Wild Walton.
Yeah.
He would come.
But Daniel,
that's what she said.
I think we have Steven in the back room.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, Walton, I chopped down a tree. I made another doorway. Well, I
Good
banged
for you,
your mom.
Fluffer.
Well, I bang your moms.
While banging my mom. That's incredible.
Welcome on in to
Plural.
welcome to Stephen Walton.
Yeah, I'd have been in earlier. I'm actually on my laptop. I'd F my computer, man. It would not stop that duck noise no matter what I did. So I had to switch to the laptop.
Quack,
all right,
quack, quack.
and,
I bang your moms.
And the man with the hair, Culture Casino. Welcome in.
Sure.
And we got a
School for school.
Mr. Casino.
we got a full panel, so I want to go ahead and get these gentlemen's take on the situation before we move on to our next topic. So, Culture, take it away. We'll get you first.
Okay. The fluffing situation, I think that it's terrible. I think that Han Solo should never have had to resort to that to get the money together to
imagine fluffing a Wookiee. Could you imagine that?
Yeah. No, well, and, the things he made Chewbacca do in order to secure the rest of the
He
credits.
slept with my wife.
Who are you and what have you done?
No, but what was your take on Brandy?
The thing is, I'm one of those people. I'm like, everybody has their gig, and as long as it's legal and it doesn't hurt somebody, it is what it is. But that's because I don't fall on the political side of either of these parties. So, I'm like, look, I'm for freedom and liberty, and in as little government as you can possibly serve up. And so, if you have a moral conundrum, and you know what. I certainly could. You have to remember, I have a particular kind of background, and but I can't place my morals on top of someone else. That's I don't sit in judgment of man. Other entities do that, right?
Well, yeah, and you remember too, culture, the Satanic Panic era.
How
how
I mean, there, dude, it's that stuff's that thing is like come around like at least once a decade since before I was born. But since I was born, I've seen stupid moral police showing up trying to throw down on something. It's like, well, this music's bad for you. Really? They said that in the 50s, right? And
Right,
those
exactly.
kids jitterbugged their asses off, right? And so just because you don't understand the music doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it, And it's again, I as long as whatever your jam isn't doing hurt damage to someone else or doesn't impede or infringe on my freedom and liberty, I don't care. So if you want to go out and sell the act of
fornication,
you sell that act to as a
Sounds
form
good.
of entertainment. There's a market for that, and if you have a particular set of skills, you can end up making quite a lot of money. You have Riley Reid and many others that are like that. But what's really weird is in that particular field of work, having a conservative person is an odd occurrence, right? Because
there's actually a fair amount in the industry, from what I found out.
Then they may not get along because you also have like people like Kinsey Taylor, who is adamantly for some other stuff that doesn't fall within the conservative mindset. But here's the thing: conservatism isn't a religion.
No,
it's you as an individual can decide exactly how far down the rabbit hole you want to go with these. These are platform items, right? These are the tenets that are established for the moment. But believe it or not, those tenets change. I mean, you have just reach back into the past and look at some of the very deep South blue states that had, some tenets in there that were very anti-human for a very long period of time. And they did not give those up willingly, and they fought for them, left, right, and center as often as they could, all the way through 1964. They were dragged kicking and screaming across the threshold of civil rights.
Yes.
So and never let them forget that, and that's the problem is you have.
Well, they're the champions now. They're the champions.
But they're not. They are doing the same thing. It's just couched in a different way. It's the new brand of racism, and they're at the forefront.
They always, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
culture, but they always play that card to where they say that the parties switch sides. You know that argument. You know that straw man they try.
Yeah.
They always
overnight. It was very miraculous.
whenever,
you know what, culture.
yeah.
I'm not sure really it's a new brand of it. I think it's more just a repackaged version of what they were doing before.
I agree with
it's
you,
not
yeah.
even changed that much, really.
No. They have the lowest common denominator expectations for their fellow man. They think everybody outside of them is stupid. And even if you're a highly educated person by anyone's definition, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the world of academia, which is now, as we can see, pretty corrupt. You have. Well, we've gone far afield of the question. So as far as Brandy Love goes, because I didn't want to get to overly political on a.
And let's go ahead and share. Let's share another
That's what
picture
we
of her
do.
real quick.
Well, listen,
This is
She looks conservative.
this is Brandy. Yeah.
Well,
to basically
the question is, what's not conservative about sexuality, right? Conservative beliefs. Well, many of them. Again, I don't fall necessarily on that side of the equation, but they demand less intrusion of others in their lives. That's what conservatism is. You get government and everybody else out of my way and out of my world. We people that sit where I do want even less of the involvement of man in our day-to-day interactions. I want to put a sunset clause on every law that's 50 years old, because if we're going to generate new laws on the regular, because that's the only way that these people can justify their existence in Washington at a federal level. Anyway.
Well, I just want term limits.
That'll work too, but at the same time, you need to re-examine the way laws are maintained and written, and they need an expiration date. And because guess what, in any contract that you write of any sort in the United States of America, it has a start and an end date. There is an end date. And laws need to have that as well.
What if maybe not so much an end date to it, but what if a reaffirmation of them? If let's just say that there's a certain law in the books that's so old that everybody wants to review it after a certain amount of years, and they can either say, okay, we like the way this law works, let's keep it in place, instead of just automatically saying
that goes down dangerous territory, though, because if you're going to be talking about the Constitution, the amendments, I mean, depending on who's in power, that's very dangerous.
No, I'm talking about laws. I'm not talking about the governing law body of the land. I'm talking about the enactment.
We're talking about. He's talking about laws at the municipal, the state.
Municipality.
More local level laws.
Look, in some places, it's still illegal to spit on the sidewalk. Okay?
This is true.
And things like that. Okay, so, and while that's a disgusting habit, the need for that law, passed along with the wooden sidewalks that we used to maintain. Understand? So the world is vastly different than it used to be. Yes. And there were laws on the books that you couldn't put pies on a window ledge on Sundays.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah,
there was a strange one over there in Morrisville, Pennsylvania, and it basically said that any girl under the age of 15, it was illegal for her to wear any kind of makeup, and that included like lipstick or anything.
What?
Yeah, and the parents could get fined for it. And as far as I know, that law is still on the books.
That's crazy. Let's go on over and get Steven's 2 cents in on it, and then we'll move on. So, go ahead, Steven. Take it away.
Oh, hey, what's going on? God, one of the things that I've really enjoyed about being a part of the backlash in the last few years is meeting people of various dispositions, political persuasions, and finding out that there's a lot more agreements than there are disagreements, and different types of people than I'd ever imagined. I met a lot more conservatives, and I never probably would have ever met. And I think there's different flavors of all different types of people out there.
Sure.
And being able to have conversations is important. But there is definitely a baseline. There's definitely a realm for the left and the right and every other sphere around it that has certain rules or certain belief systems that are in place because they're just the core belief systems that anchor that system in place. So, hey, I think that no matter what, if a prostitute, I'm not pressing prostitutes, to be a porn star.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. I was thinking about Vinny.
Steven, don't air your dirty laundry on this panel.
Listen,
I'm not doing
what does your satanic tree god say about all this?
Guys, I wanted to cut it so many times when y'all were talking about that. But oh God, I don't know. Look, all I know is I saw a hot blonde, and I thought to myself, my soul might be in danger. So that's my take on it. Thank you.
He masturbated a lot when you put up.
Yeah. By the way, Steven, I looked at the picture a little bit closer. She doesn't have blue eyes.
Picture.
She doesn't? Oh, that's good. That's good. No, really, I think you guys have covered this all pretty well, and I appreciate the wonderful conversation.
Well, and
I don't have
I
much
was
more to add to it.
Yeah, I was listening in the car, and I'm thinking, wow, these guys really know how to handle something like this. They grabbed it, they held on to it, and they just wouldn't stop working on it until they got through it.
That's what she said.
Sounds like a fluffer.
That's the mission statement of the gays agenda, by the way.
That's what I figured.
That's an agenda I can firmly get behind.
And the thing is, you guys really make a great point about that. If Steven, if he wants to hump a tree, I mean, as long as it's not hurting anybody and it's not against the law, then go.
How do you know that tree
Didn't
doesn't
you
have?
just
How do you know
jack a
that
car?
tree doesn't have feelings? You think that tree is not being violated?
Yeah, how
Like
can
the
that
thing
tree?
is,
How can that tree
until there's a law
consent?
against
Yeah,
it
how can
in
it?
his state?
Steven, look. Bottom line is, if you're on your own land and you want to prance around with like a little like Tinkerbell thing on, and walk up and spit cheesy one-liners at a fucking oak, and then look over to Maple and be like, "Do you want to have a threesome?" You're stroking a branch. We're not going to judge you. We love you. We're not going to judge
He doesn't
you.
get those dirty looks from the trees.
The tree.
That
I mean,
tree
some.
had it coming.
That's what you said. God damn it.
I'm glad he coming with those leaves.
Born in the forest.
Sorry, I had to.
They'll never get on.
Sometimes the cheap pop is the best pop. I couldn't help myself.
Swaying in the breeze like that. She was asking for it.
Miriam, you've been quiet. Any thoughts on the subject?
On American politics? No.
I'm just crying, laughing, and I was just thinking that the U.S. politics and all the things that you were pretty much talking about is even further than Star Wars. So I'm just laughing at Steven. So
Well, thanks. They're all dicks.
dude, I did you a favor. I did you a huge favor. You weren't here when they were discussing the lady. I was checking whether she has blue eyes. I was there for you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
All right, so what's next?
All right. So a few days ago,
He likes when they cry. That's why he thinks the Weeping Willows.
they had.
This is what it sounds like when leaves cry.
They had. All right. So
Dig, if you will, a picture of you and I engaged with a tree. The pine needles, they cover me. Can you, my darling, can you picture this?
Trees
thank you.
Dream, if you will.
Files.com.
Oh, jeez, oh man.
Sweet northern pine. Bum, bum, bum.
So good. So good. So good.
All right. So the next topic I had, and folks, this is an exclusive, because I guarantee you, there's not a whole lot of YouTube channels you're going to go to that's actually going to discuss this, because this is the kind of stuff that Mama Susan don't like. But I don't play well with authority, so you can catch these kind of stories here, because unless they come to my house and disconnect my internet, here you go. So
Don't give me any ideas.
So we had this was the other day, the Capitol rioter. We had the first one sentenced, and his name's Paul Hodgkins, and he's from Tampa. He was sentenced to 8 months in prison, and mind you, all he trespassed, and I get that, and he should by rights have gotten jail time. But the problem here, and I think this is the bigger issue, minus the grandstanding in that particular proceeding. The defense said it was terrible. He planted a flag right in the middle of the, and I mean, the guy was just carrying a Trump flag, okay, but
That was enough.
but here's the thing, okay. I have a problem with the sentencing because, we've already got people being held from what the reports have come out as far as the January 6th people that are being held. Okay, they are being held in really crappy conditions. They are not getting proper nutrition. They are not really getting too much of their rights. And this is something that is not being reported because they don't want you to know. Of course, this administration is going to paint the picture that everything is squeaky clean. But mind you, I was there on the 6th, and I know that a number of these people, even the ones that did participate that were maybe, on the periphery, that just kind of got fired up, goaded into it by the bad actors that were present, because indeed there were.
Absolutely,
I can promise
there
you
were.
that. This guy probably did the least wrong. Yes, he trespassed, and yes, he made it to the Senate floor. But that's all he did. So for trespassing, you would figure the most, even trespassing in a government building, the most would be 6 months.
That baffles my mind. Citizens of this country trespassed into the people's house. That baffles my mind.
Well, that's when that's when the government became Lord, right there. Right there. That is the moment.
Here's the part that irritates me about this whole situation. If the left wants to sit there and say, "Hey, these people trespassed on federal property, and you want to lock them up," you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. If that's the steps you want to take, do whatever you're going to do, that's fine. But what about all the people that were part of all these riots, where they went out and they attacked federal buildings. They set them on fire. They spray painted all of them and vandalized them. They got locked up locally. And then people got together and created funds to have those people released.
Well, remember,
are there going to be organizations that are going to be allowed to release these people from federal prison? No. Because you won't be able to do that at the federal level. Why is there a different...
Well,
Tommy, it's got to be fair across the board.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was going to say, Tommy, don't forget that our esteemed vice president proudly bragged back then during the summer of Black Lives Matter last
summer
year.
of love.
She bragged that she donated to the fund to get those people out. So you got to remember, okay, this guy should have gotten some kind of punishment for trespassing. I get that, because you shouldn't be trespassing. The law is the law. But my problem with it is give the man a sentence commensurate to the crime. And this is the problem here, is that it's political grandstanding and it's weaponizing the justice system. And when you do that, the impartiality of the justice system goes out the window, and it becomes a tool to go after your political opponents. And that is not something the justice system is supposed to be at all. And that is why this ticks me off in the worst way. This guy shouldn't even have gotten near 8 months. At the very most, he should have got 3 to 6 months, which I believe is about what it is for trespassing.
90 days.
90 days.
Well, and the guy that's behind him, the guy that was dressed up in like the hunter's outfit, the bear chest, that guy, he's standing behind the desk in this picture. Like, no, yeah, right. Now there's been reporters that have done research on this guy and found that he was present last summer during several of the Antifa riots. So now this guy was also allegedly arrested and then let go that same night. And there were others. There was a group of them that they traced back, and it was the same people that were involved in the summer riot. That were, so these are the bad actors we're talking about. Now, what about him? Is he getting sentenced? Is he going to go to jail for, what was it, 8 years or something? Is he going to go to jail for that amount of time as well?
He got 8 months. Mind you, and this is again the prosecution, which and also get this, folks, the judge that sentenced him was a 2014 Obama administration appointee. The federal judge that sentenced this guy. So just be aware of that, because obviously that this administration is Obama admin 3.0 essentially. Yeah.
Biden administration. But that's the thing. Again, these are what they call the expendable idiots, because they've paid them also to, again, like you said, they were part of the riots in the summer and all that crap, and then they were also at the Capitol. We know that with the shaman guy as well. And the day after this happened, the shaman dude was taking a photograph with Pelosi's son-in-law in front of the Capitol the next day.
But this guy, Hodgkins, that was sentenced, this guy didn't even have a criminal record. He had no criminal record. So, he did not engage in any violence. He did not destroy any property. He was in the Capitol for less than 30 minutes. And what they made this guy do, essentially. And if you watch this proceeding, I don't know who watched this proceeding or saw it. I missed it, but I did see some highlights. And they made this guy essentially sit there and admit in front of everybody that, I accept Joe Biden as the president of the United States lawfully, whatever. But they made him essentially swear that Joe Biden was the president to just make this guy look like an idiot. Wow. They sat there. It's no different than holding a gun to somebody's head and say it.
Drew, do you know why? Yeah. Do you know why exactly he did that? Do you know why he did it? Everything that he's been saying, he's been trying to conflate this to the same thing as the Civil War, and that's the same exact thing that they did to the Confederate soldiers at the end of the Civil War. They made them swear allegiance to the Union.
Yep.
Well, that's it, man. I told you, they're keeping the hate going, and they want to keep trying to start this race war. Because they hate that we're all hanging out, we're all communicating, everyone knows what's going on. So they keep trying to bring this up more and more. We're seeing it everywhere. That's why they don't want us to talk either. Look at our panel. We got people from all over the world on our panel, all different backgrounds. They don't like that. So anytime we discuss things like this and we go too far, that's when they want to keep chopping us all out. They want to cancel everybody.
So that's exactly why I can't trust anything. Like, do we know this guy's background? Is he even a Trump supporter, or could he be a bad actor? That, hey, look, you're going to go to jail for 8 months, but you're going to have to say this stuff, and he's fine with it because he's on board with it. But we're going to give you a nice little hefty, payday on an offshore account. We don't know. We just don't know. There's too many bad actors. I don't know if this guy is really is he honestly, is he not in on it? How do we know?
Yeah, that's true.
How do we know? He went to jail.
Yeah, well,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it could be part of the thing. Like, look, you're gonna have to go to jail for 8 months, but we're giving you a payday. There's a payoff for it. We're taking care of your family. We don't. These things have happened before. We're gonna do this for you. When you get out of jail, it's 8 months, not bad, but you're going to have a nice, offshore account that's staked when you get out of jail.
It was probably like a plea bargain of some sort, basically.
Well, there was, because, like I said, the prosecution was pushing for 20 years. And see, that's the thing. The bigger issue here, what I'm worried about is using the justice system, which is supposed to be impartial, to persecute political opponents. That is not what it's supposed to be for. That is not what it's about at all. And that is a huge concern to me.
I would like to ask, is trespassing to such a place such a crime? It just stuns me that he's been sentenced for such a long time. Like Etep said, over here, I've never heard of such a case. But what kind of surprises me about this whole thing, that over here we come across a situation where, for example, murder is given less than some other crime. Mm-hmm. That's why it kind of surprises me. Why a person with a clean record who hasn't done pretty much anything is gonna sit in jail for such a long time for doing practically nothing, just walking somewhere where he probably shouldn't, but.
Because it's part of the show.
So
they need it for the cameras. They need these stories to put more fear into people so that this doesn't happen anymore. That's what the narrative they want to keep pushing.
Go ahead, Etep.
I was just gonna say, in Michigan, no criminal background. If you have a clean record, right? Intentionally trespassing on private property is a criminal offense, punishable by a $250 fine and up to 30 days in county jail or both. So that's what you can get with no record for.
Well, for something like that, what used to be considered a minor crime, they used to be able to give pretrial interventions to people like that if they didn't have any records too.
And that's exactly what they do. They would give you, it's called, which is what I got way back when I got my first bullshit marijuana charge in 2005, called the 7411, and it's basically, hey, you have a clean record, you've never done anything wrong. Plead guilty, take probation, and it won't show up on your record, which It never did until I registered. I registered a firearm somewhere, and they're like, "Here, what's this?" I'm like, I explained it to them. They're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Here you go." But signed off. But so that is it's there. You can pay a lawyer to have it expunged completely, which is possible, but that's what they do for first-time offenders. Is they're still supposed to offer deferred sentencing to keep people out of the judicial system.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, my concern is the way that the process is being carried out here, because I think it's not being done on a fair level. It's not being done with the intention of, prosecuting a case of trespassing, and that's what is alarming to me, especially the way that the prosecution framed it, the fact that they used same buzzwords that the media used, like they come up with these words that make it sound like more than what it was. Like there was impending doom, like the people, like the Senate and House were going to be, killed.
Oh, they were shaking like leaves, though, because they don't want the people to come there and express themselves.
They were equating it.
Hey, Drew, I wouldn't equate this to impending doom. I would equate that more to Kevin Smith and his upcoming Masters of the Universe reboot.
No, you're not looking at doom.
but I'm just, the thing that concerns me is on the judicial system side, and I wanted to get Culture's take on that, because isn't that a concern that they're weaponizing the judicial system?
Well, yeah, it is, because again, but this isn't the first time. We've started seeing this in the first Clinton administration, and in the second Clinton administration under Obama, you saw it utilized even more and more. So yeah, it's a problem when you are essentially using political offices to carry out vendettas, and you can never be seen to be doing that. But at this point in time, civility and candor and all of the other wonderful things that we talk about that are supposed to be part of statesmanship, they've all been abandoned because the one party wants to just rule. They want autocratic rule. They want authoritarianism, and it's pretty evident. You can see it in how they're going after the social media companies, essentially saying, well, we've marked these words for Facebook to so these people get banned, and I'm like, okay, the federal government shouldn't, if you're going to dip your toe in there, then you're freely admitting that you are in cahoots with Facebook. And if Facebook complies, it's going to look bad for Facebook now. And then again, the kid gloves are off. But see, here's the problem. They're bleeding on so many different fronts on a regular basis. They have to attack their political enemies this way, and they don't want people to question them.
And the thing is, Culture, is that what you guys may not know is that if what I heard that the administration is doubling down on that, basically saying that if you get banned from one platform,
I heard it.
Saki came out and said that, Makani. That's a good point. Yeah, she came out and said, "Oh yeah, that should be like you should just lose all your privileges on every platform." And it's like, what? Are you kidding me?
That's not fascism.
Exactly.
Plus,
exactly.
I think they caught her recently lying or doing something on one of the platforms. So that means she should be canceled as well, right?
Yeah, you would think.
The newest thing that I heard as well is now they deemed all conservatives are going to be terrorists. So they're really trying to destroy the party entirely. So it's a one system party.
But see, that's the problem. Is this is the party again who has no track record when it comes to civil or human rights. Their record is poor. And you can show instance after instance after instance where that was the case, and for a period of time it kind of went underground, but it's back in full force. Mm-hmm. You're demonizing a party, really? That's what you want to do? Because I guarantee you, if people went around doing that to you, you'd be freaking out. And here's the problem: the pendulum will swing back, right?
Yes.
And then what? And then what?
Yeah.
Right. And so, you don't want to be on the other side of that. I mean, even if there's some form of an engagement of some kind that is violent in the future, eventually things happen. But anyway,
that's the problem with the.
Yeah, I actually just had another work thing come in at me, so I got to pop out. But it was fun to hang out and talk about Brandy Love. It was less fun to talk about the Capitol.
Well,
crap.
but Culture, thank you for sharing their opinion because, dude, it's important, and I believe in due process in the justice system.
Dude,
and this is a sham.
Well, it was a sham from the very beginning. Again, I mean, they are not willing to share the video. It's going to take a judge getting a Freedom of Information Act request for all of the video from this entire thing. And
if there is an impartial judge.
Well, there's still good judges out there on the bench, but it isn't going to matter. And there is no reason that the public has not been given that stuff to identify the people who legitimately did the bad things. Because we've seen, a CNN reporter with one of the Antifa, knuckleheads break into the Capitol and then go traipsing around in there. And here's the thing. Anybody can put a press badge on or a flak jacket, press jacket on, and they're not really press. I mean technically anybody in the United States can claim to be press. All they have to do is put together some form of any kind of pamphlet or whatever. They just have to put something together and produce it. But it doesn't essentially make you immune from consequences, just like one of my favorite things is freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences. And I'm I gotta love that. That's the least intelligent thing I think anybody could have ever said, because first of all, they like to cite you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. And then I go, have you looked up that case? Have you? Do you understand what it was referring to? And do you understand what happened when it was appealed and it was turned over? So, you can say a lot of things. You just need to have some background in it. And I don't feel like a lot of people who, get involved in these conversations, especially, when they're trying to be an authority on it, really understand what they're talking about. You can literally use any word that has ever been created, even made-up words. Believe me, we get a lot of made-up words daily. And you have the freedom to say them, okay? Because to be fair, every word's made up. But it's just whether or not you ascribe it meaning or you believe that it's being utilized with any form of meaning. And it is what it is. I gotta go. I'm telling this to an author who actually. Well, I'm telling this to Steven, who actually writes.
What an asshole!
So, but
why didn't anybody ever cut on gays? Bye. When are we selling? When are we selling the culture chapstick? Lip be gone.
We're coming. Dude, actually, you laugh. I am bringing this to Vegas. Right? Have you seen the poker chip?
Oh, that's badass, brother.
Right? It's a legitimate clay poker chip. So I'm taking a couple hundred of these with me to Vegas and give them away to one for each person until I run out. I'm actually I ordered some other items to give away while I'm there too. So lip balm might be one of them. So who knows? Right. But eventually they're going to make it to the store, along with a bunch of other great gear that you'll be able to get at the Rogue Entertainment store when it opens. I'm so far behind, guys. I apologize. This was supposed to be done this month. I'm hoping we get it done next month. But I want to promote that. You will have a central location for all things Rogue. Everybody will still have their own channels, of course, but you'll also have Rogue gear and a bunch of other things that Katie and I are going to work on, all the graphics and everything, and it's gonna be good. I'm very excited about it.
So Culture hair cleaning kit coming soon.
Actually, I found a great place that does some hair care products. If they meet my standards, it's possible. We'll see.
Oh, those are high standards.
Those are culture.
I got a dip. I got a dip, guys. I wasn't prepared. I thought I was done.
Make sure to catch Culture Casino on his channel and everywhere else that he is around YouTube.
Yeah, I don't sleep anymore. So, but anyway, I love you guys. I will see you soon, Pete.
Love you, Culture.
Take care. All right. So, Stephen, you looked like you had something that you wanted to say. So if you had a thought, go ahead and finish it.
Steven, you look like an author.
I totally lost any thought once Culture started talking about his
But,
hair.
but no, I think you were going to say something about the justice system.
Well, I was actually going to speak about the pendulum because Culture had mentioned that what's going to happen when the pendulum swings back. It's going to be the same thing that we have to do now, I think, which is make sure it doesn't swing to the extreme. We went to a left extreme. We've been there for a little while now, and we're having to fight it constantly, all of us. I mean, not just conservatives, but like I said, left, right, and in between.
Former liberals, like if you're a classic liberal, you're considered a conservative now by the people that took over.
I'm talking. Yeah, my stepmother and I, we have talks where we actually stop at some points because we're so different from one another. I said that to her, and she said, "Well, you're a conservative now." She said to me, "Are you serious, right? Are you serious with me?"
They do look at it like that. And
if you tap your common sense, you're conservative.
Yeah.
I don't know, Walton. I didn't think you were conservative. I thought your people were called conservationists.
I fucking hate you, Tom. But yeah, we're going to do the same thing when the pendulum swings back. We'll have to do the same thing. Just make sure it doesn't swing to the right extreme. And I wish we could find some even scales, like the scales of justice. I wish we could find that area in between where we all have a fair chance to be equally represented and express our ideas and all come together and come to a point of common sense, something that's beneficial for everyone.
Well, that's why they're trying to take away guns.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I'm concerned about, though, like I said, besides the weaponization of the justice system, the thing that I'm concerned about is because we've seen the effects firsthand, and you guys know from just in general, from the principles of the movement, of Comicsgate, of Phantom Menace, of anything that brought us together where we met each other and everything else. It's always been like trying to bring back common sense, really, and bring back good stories and good entertainment and keep politics out of that arena because we want to enjoy escapism again, and that seems to be something that is not allowed. They are playing fun police, saying no, you can't enjoy that. You're gonna get message 24/7. You're gonna get this narrative 24/7, and it's like they have this social engineering going on all the time, this manipulation going on all the time, and it's been going on for decades. Because if you look at the last two generations, we almost have it's a marked difference from the generation that I came out of with the two generations following. It's just a huge difference in the way that you carry yourself, critical thinking, the whole 9 yards. And
the word you're looking for is tards.
Gays. Yeah, I'm trying to be nice about it, but the thing is, there's been so much social engineering, so much manipulation, and so much twisting of people's thoughts that you have people like just swallowing like rhetoric that they don't even understand. Because when you break down the socially engineered stuff, like the stuff that's rooted in critical theory and all this, you can see that it's a bunch of like really authoritarian and nasty stuff. Because this is all Frankfurt School stuff.
Right.
It is. It's amazing to me how far. Oh, go ahead, Mac. Go ahead.
It's always been a future where I've scared a future that's always scared me, and that's why partially why I joined TFM, why I joined this community, was that I really can't live in a world where I'm going to have to be dictated on every single thing I do, including what I put on paper.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's kind of how our group, how kind of Rogue has come together, because we started out, like you said, like Drew said earlier, we didn't want to talk about politics or entertainments. We just wanted to talk about what was wrong with our entertainments. And unfortunately, the problem that became wrong with our entertainments was the politics that was being injected in it. One of the great things that came out of those conversations was finding out that we are so many different types of people, but we all have a commonality in as far as our morals. And so that's just, we were forced to begin speaking about politics and confronting these issues, which is healthy to a degree if you feel like it, if you are a person who pays attention to those things. But and that's where we are now.
I kind of kicked in the door, Steven, and said enough, and took my channel in a completely different direction, and just
absolutely
said, and then me and Wes became like the front line of pushing that.
Yeah.
In.
And I'm glad that happened. I was glad to see that. And then we find people that usually talk about different things, like Eatsep, Tommy, Vinny, like all these are Final. We don't really talk about these things on our channels or on their channels. And now we find that we have a space where we can talk about it in a healthy way. Right. And that's a good thing. It really is. I'm glad to have found so many different types of people that all pretty much agree that this is shit. What we're getting we're getting served.
Yeah, it is. But and I'm glad that we're keeping our eyes on the prize, and we understand, because a lot of people they can see the forest for the trees now. They understand that there's been this insidious social engineering going on. That a lot of people's minds got twisted. That there's a lot of as Vinny mentioned earlier, there's a lot of useful idiots out there. And that's the thing. We have to try and make an effort to at least show those people, hey, you've been duped, man. Wake up.
Right.
Well, the other thing you guys both mentioned a good point. Steven, you said, if you're someone who pays attention to the politics and stuff of the day. Well, and Drew, when you said, you use entertainment as escapism, they're making it impossible. You can't avoid knowing what's going on in politics because it's everywhere now. And that's intentional because, of course, they're trying to inject their politics, and I don't like to use the word brainwash, but in a way it's kind of brainwash.
It is brainwash. It is absolutely
with critical race theory. And the other thing is, it's so overtly obvious right now that they're doing this. It's so ridiculous, and it's hard to. You can see it easily, and it's very plain and clear to see. The agendas they're pushing. So it's pushing people away because now you can't have escapism. They don't want you to have escapism. They want you to see very clearly what they're doing. So for people who don't know, and the young kids, they're getting manipulated by it. And for people who do know, but they want to escape it, they can't. So they're getting more and more enraged by it. So it's working for them on multiple fronts because they're getting the kids, and they're also creating division and causing division because they're not allowing you to escape it. So if you're going to get angry, you're going to get angrier, and they want that.
And finally, it's to the point where we have Nickelodeon, and we have these different kids shows that are promoting to very young children, very impressionable children, ways of living, lifestyles, or ideas that are in complete contradiction to Judeo-Christian values. And that's a strong mainstay of this country, and the values of this country was built upon. I recognize that, not being a part of that culture.
Even if you're not religious, just taking the the basic morality out of it.
Exactly. Not to flaunt trans, not whatever the hell, in front of these kids and promote it to them as if it is a subject matter that should be given to impressionable young children before they've even had the chance to go through puberty or discover themselves. These are the things that we're fighting. It's very multi-level. The indoctrination, the brainwashing is coming from multiple levels. And this is where people like us have to stand up together and through all our differences and fight it, point it out, hold people's hands if we have to.
Yeah. The other thing is it's causing the potential to cause division inside the families too. Because if these kids start watching these shows and that's becoming the norm, that's what all the kids are watching. Mom, why can't I watch it? It's what everyone watches, but the parents know better. Now the kids and the kids and the parents are having. They're fighting. Oh, you don't know what's cool. I'm not listening to you anymore. There's division everywhere, even within the families.
Right, and I don't even get into every sphere of politics, which is why I'm glad that I have people like friends like Drew who talk to me, and Wes who talk to me about these things, culture and others. But for me, it's more about the protection of innocence. Protecting children. As because they're being used like pawns. They're trying to groom the next generation, not only to think a certain way, but to allow things that are immoral in my eyes.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. They're trying They're trying to push just really, really sick stuff, really immoral stuff. Yeah. And
look, if you want to cover yourself in peanut butter and be beaten and shove a cucumber up your ass when you're an adult, hey, please go ahead and do it. Throw on some furry clothes and be a bitch. I don't care. You do you, boo. You have fun.
Just don't get any peanut butter on my oak.
It's just it really is that age-old thing of just you're just making, younger people, the younger generation. You're trying to sell minds to end up like you, to end up miserable like you, but
or more accessible
But here's the problem, though. It's not going to work out, though. I do believe it's not going to work out just because at some point reality has to kick in. At some point, something's going to change. Something's going to cause it to it's not. It doesn't like this. Like I hate getting political about this, but like what we're seeing with Hong Kong and what we're seeing with Cuba and all that stuff. At some point, they're going to see through the veil, no matter how much you try to melt their minds.
Boom!
At some point, they're going to see through the BS, and they're going to see through the BS. They're going to see it, and it's not something that you don't have any control over. That they can't, and that's how human minds are.
To add to your point,
to
add to your point, Makani, look at what's going on. Because we've seen the footage from Cuba, we've seen the footage from France as they continue to get authoritarian and go to a vax pass for everything. You go to the footage for Australia, and we've seen our friends on the pool Aussie talk about it and how it's affecting the Australian people. And you see the footage about the Australians in the street standing up for their freedom, their rights. So, exactly.
And the thing is, and I want to detour this just a little bit. The situation going on in Cuba, it's I feel like this is my reason to, if somebody asks me why I can't in good consciousness support anything tied to BLM, it's because of this, because you aren't supporting the people who are fighting against this. It's clear that you never cared about Black people in the first place. This is all about communism and North. Yeah,
they're disingenuous, Mark.
It's dishonest. It's incredibly dishonest.
You missed the gravy train, Mark. You could have been a millionaire.
Yeah.
All you had to do was sell your soul, man. That's all you had to do.
I can't, man. Too valuable nowadays. Having a soul is too valuable nowadays.
But Time Prophet says there's also mass protests in London, as I believe that Britain is now on the Vax Pass as well.
A year ago I was talking to my friends who were pro-vax, and I was saying, like, you watch. This is going to get to a point where they're going to start making it mandatory. You're not going to be able to buy, sell, trade. Not that this is the mark of the beast or the Bible talks about, but that is in there.
Yes.
And I said, watch, they're going to do this with the vax. This is testing the waters. And they just laughed at me, thought I was nuts. Give me a break. They're never going to do that. You're crazy. You're never going to go that far. And now it's gotten to the point where it is happening, right? But they've instead of saying, oh, you're right. It's now like, well, yeah, it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's for the betterment of the public. Like a year ago, you were laughing because you thought they're not going to do it. This is crazy. That's too far. But now that you've seen they're doing it, you've now gone farther with them. Now you're saying, oh, yeah, it should be this way. Like, these are friends that I thought were rational thinkers, but clearly, they've been drinking the Kool-Aid.
When are we going to talk about the gay frogs?
The frogs are gay. And I'll be honest, and I will be honest, because it's just like, for me, at my job, and I know a lot of people, and I know everybody on this panel could probably say the same thing, is that, you're probably at a job, or if you have been to a job where, you probably don't gel, you probably, politically, you probably don't side with like your coworkers and everybody else, but you're still great friends with them. And whenever you got to do like a task or a topic or something comes up in relation to that, you kind of just go along with it. You can't just go along with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, the thing is, and that's what I'm afraid of, because we're having this whole talk about CRT being implemented.
Yes.
And it's just, and I've heard stuff to the point where people have like in the army, where people have left the army, people have disbanded from the army because they were pushing CRT.
Yeah. Well, more and more parents are standing up to school boards, Makani. I mean, people are getting involved because there's a very serious concern with what their children are being taught. Because
the Legos are gay.
Yeah.
But just what's worse though, what I think what's worse is that it's the age-old thing of sunlight being the best disinfectant. Is that staying up against it is fine, but we just got to make sure that we don't like drive it underground to where they can just to where they'll just continue to push it just under a different name, or just under completely underground when no one's looking. We got to make sure it it stays within the light. You know what I mean?
I think one of the important factors in that, if I could bring it back around to entertainments, is get woke, go broke. We've really got to begin removing financial support for institutions, for entertainment institutions who are like the commercial arm, the propaganda wing for a lot of this thinking.
That's what a lot of people say, like, whenever Star Wars does this, or ever, Disney or Lucasfilm or Marvel, whatever properties, they do this or that, we're always like, you know what? Let them. Because what we usually mean is that when we say we let them do it, is just that let them pull this off. Go ahead and pull this off, because all you're doing is you're just exposing yourself to everyone, including normies. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Hasbro's turning the Legos gay.
Yeah.
Well, and Hasbro, and that's why I say with Hasbro, I'm like, of course we're against it, but you know what?
Vitamin D.
Push it.
Vitamin D.
Go ahead.
Vitamin D.
Go ahead, go for it, and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because you're going to push this on a public. You're going to push this into public. Watch the fallout from it.
I want to.
Mandy's doing great.
I want to address.
Sunlight's the best disinfectant.
I want to address some of our chat because we got some Time Prophet says they're enforcing a 2-tier Vax passport system in Britain.
Jesus.
And Tater Squad says the enthusiasm with which millennials surrender their liberty indicates balkanization may be the only answer. You're not entirely wrong about that, Tater Squad. Hail to our friend LGG. I know you had a birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday!
We just want to wish him a happy birthday. Good member of our community, great technical mind. If you need computer help, he's always normally available. He's just good people all the way around. So hail to you, LDG.
Alex loves eating his neighbors with birthday cake.
Yeah,
that's right.
Small time.
I love eating people.
Small time says, I'm amazed that those that were so fiercely against Trump's vaccine now demand everyone get it. Yeah,
right.
The hypocrisy is real, my friend. They have turned on a dime.
The branding changed.
When the boogeyman disappeared, I mean, people started paying attention.
Well, it's you know what? It's to kind of tie it all over to other stuff. It's that it's what we're seeing in a lot of mainstream media. We're seeing that in a lot of media, especially considering like sports media, like ESPN and stuff. Is like once the Orange Man was out of office, they lost their revenue because they've lost interest. They've lost their audience because they built so much of their revenue on being anti-Orange Man, being Orange Man bad.
How much have we heard from CNN? Like, how much have we talked about CNN? In the last 8 months.
Now they're doing that.
By the way, though,
You mean outside of the guy jacking off on camera?
By the way, though, my
Jeffrey Tubin.
My next thing before we get out of there, though, my next thing is about CNN. So it's funny that you bring that up.
Doing a subscription
Hey,
service.
Drew.
I'm like, that's not gonna, you're not going to get revenue off of that.
Drew, I want to address something in the chat. Godzillionaire is talking about the next batch of Transformers Hasbro release is going to be insane. And you know what? This is one of the things that really pisses me off about all the nonsense that's going on, especially with the CRT garbage. You got these companies that actually started doing the right thing, and they started putting products out that actually, respected the fans. It respected everything that came before. Hasbro and Takara, and mostly Takara, was pushing for this. But they started going in the right direction by paying respect to, just like, say, the Transformer franchise in particular, where they were paying respect to the old stuff, and they were showing it much like the old G1. Now they're going to take this garbage with this critical race theory, and where are they probably going to take it? They're probably going to take it right back down in the toilet where it was before, when the only thing we had out there was that Michael Bay garbage, and it was garbage because those toys were not flying off the freaking shelves. As a matter of fact, the last time that they had their movie release editions, they were sitting on the shelves collecting dust.
Yeah.
Everything that they put out recently, when they're paying respect to the G1, it flies off the shelves. And the same thing with their G.I. Joe line, where they were paying respect to the stuff from like the 82 lines, like really bring out like the older characters like Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, the way we used to see them, bringing back things like the Hiss tanks and everything, making it so the people who were fans of these franchises wanted to go out there and buy these things, and they were flying off the shelves. Now they're coming off with, oh, well, we can't have Cobra Commander in that hood anymore because that's racist. This is the kind of garbage that we keep talking about we need to speak up against.
And the thing is,
wonder why we speak up against it is because of this nonsense. It affects everything. It doesn't just stop with entertainment or politics. It affects everything. Now they're coming after your kids with this nonsense.
Hail, Tommy.
Tommy, you bring up a great point about that, because I said it before in regards to stuff like Transformers. I was like, those like Bayformer stuff was bad, but it sold off the shelves. I'm like, think about how much money a profit you guys be making if you actually sat down and made something good and actually made a good Transformers film. That would actually sell much more.
What they're doing now, they're going to make all Transformers gay. Their new tagline is going to be trans and roll out.
That's right. It's going to be multicolored Autobots fighting against the drab red Republican Decepticons.
The best, honestly, the best.
Take your kids, go outside with them. Sunlight. Sunlight will kill the COVID, kill the trans, kill the gay. That's what it's going to do.
Non-binary cons.
The best on-screen Transformers we've got thus far, like close to the cartoon anyway, was the very beginning of Bumblebee when they were shooting them off of Cybertron. That looked. If they made a movie just like that, it's like why can't you do that? Why
they took cues from the games, the War and the Fall of Cybertron games.
Yes.
That's where that whole beginning. That's where that really came from. That came from High Moon Studios and the amazing work that they did to try to push back that G1 aesthetic while taking it in a new direction. And IDW initially did the same damn thing with their comic books, but then eventually they got infiltrated by the woke, just like damn near every other comic book company did.
Right.
And it started going downhill, and everything was like, oh, well, we need to have My Little Pony in the Transformers. That's where they took it.
Did they really?
Everybody got sad.
Did they really do a My Little Pony Transformers?
Yeah, they did. They did a comic book. There's at least 2 comics that I know of. I actually seen one of them, and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Don't we have a brony on the panel? Can he speak to this a little bit?
A brony and a furry who is a carjacker, we found out tonight.
A furry brony carjacker. Jesus, those things are so contradictory. You would think they would be the most non-violent people ever.
Slight fight,
non-threatening.
Because of the fluoride in the water where he's at.
No way.
Makes him like ponies, makes him still cars.
Ponies and furries and cars, oh my.
Mac, get out in the sunlight. It'll kill it.
Both of y'all.
I want to go ahead and get into our last topic here, because this this is funny, and this is more of a clip I want to show. There's articles about it, but the article just referenced a clip, so we'll just show the actual clip. But this is hilarious because I know Steven mentioned CNN, and their ratings have fallen off a cliff at this point. They're essentially.
So much so that they're starting a streaming service.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
That's funny. That's funny, Makini. But they're such a joke. And one of the people that epitomizes that joke, of course, folks, by now, Brian Stelter. He's like the potato. He just sits there and
I've heard of Brian Seltzer.
The guy's a living meme at this point. But he had a guest on. He had an author.
Oh my gosh, I saw this. This is fantastic.
Yeah, he had an author named Michael Wolff on, and this guy just absolutely made him look like a fool on his own show. And you have to love this, So we got to share this before we get out of here because this is just great. So I go ahead and share this. Share audio. Okay, and bam, here we go. All right. Yeah, we'll full screen this so you guys can see it. And here we go. Come on. Oh, come on, man.
Boomer.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Media has done a terrible job on this. I think you yourself, while you're a nice guy, you're full of sanctimony. You part of one of the parts of the problem of the media. You come on here and you have a a monopoly on truth. You know exactly how things are supposed to be done. You are one of the reasons people can't stand the media.
You're cracking me up.
You're cracking me up.
It's my. So, what should I do differently, Michael?
Say not be an asshole.
Don't talk so much. Listen more.
I mean, to be fair, if it was like ETEP or Steven or Drew or anybody else who was on panel,
sanctimony.
You guys wouldn't be nice. I'll put it that way. Y'all wouldn't be that nice.
I mean, but it's great because this dude just eviscerated him right there.
Yeah.
And see that's the clown show that CNN has become. And we know this because
But now they want motherfuckers to pay for a streaming service, right?
Well, people that were that are in the cult of woke will always,
Yeah, they're trying to get their hardcore base that will pay because they're losing so much money. They're probably not getting the great ads that they once did.
Yeah,
so now they're like, we got to get our
any
strong
money
base to
either.
start paying us.
Yeah, but that's the thing, that their hardcore base doesn't pay for anything.
You're right.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll start to wrap up here. We'll go around and let everybody tell you where. Huh?
Nothing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be careful, man. You might get the uncomfortable itch. You do that. But all right, we'll go around the panel and let everybody tell you where they can be found, and we'll start with Miriam.
Yeah. Hey guys. You can find me at Twitter as Miriam and Instagram and Miriam Nova. And right now, I'm sorry, I'm so all over the place.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Are you still
make it
heterosexual? Just wondering, you hang out with us dicks a lot, just making sure you still like men.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I hang around with you guys so much that I got a brain freeze right now. So
did you get did you get a contact high from me? Is that my fault? My bad.
Huh? Nah. I mean, I'm still traumatized from I had your yesterday's streams on repeat, and I was listening to the story that happened over there with this friend of yours, and I'm still like, what?
Yeah.
Wait,
we probably traumatized the poor woman by showing her Brian Stelter.
Not really, not really. Honestly, right now, my mind is all over the place because I'm trying to, as you all know, I'm working on Sandstorm comic, and I'm working on the next page, and I'm trying to lay out the panels the way so that page would be nice and readable, and that's a
Nice.
really hardcore mind process. So I'm pretty much like having my brain divided. Multitasking is a female thing, so
Gotcha.
I'm
Are we going to
paying
get defined
attention.
bulges in those panels?
Huh?
Are we going to get defined bulges in those panels?
Yes, right leaning, left leaning, your choice. And there are gonna be some merches for you, Steven.
Okay.
Are you gonna get some boobies?
Well, of course, and really nice ass shots, and things like
Okay.
He's got competition.
Yeah. So make sure that you check out Miriam's stuff through the woods, most definitely. Also the stuff she's doing. Sunsworn,
Yeah, Through the Woods is Vinny's thing. Mine is Bonds. So and Bonds is shipping soon. And right now I'm still working on Sunsworn. So those are the two projects that we're working on, and very soon. Very soon.
Yeah. Well,
She's having a stroke. That's from the fluoride in the water. This is iodine.
Oh man, all right. Well, speaking of Sunsworn, we will go over to the daddy of Sunsworn, and that'd be Red Gaze.
What up? Yeah. Get on that Sunsworn. Still in demand. It's over halfway complete. Miriam's really kicking off those pages. Mika is done being super pregnant. The baby's out, and she's began coloring again already. She's a trooper. Everybody on the team are just fantastic people. But yeah, going to start doing some more stuff on the channel here. Coming back tonight around 10:15, bringing back Gazing into the Abyss. On Thursday, we're going to start a promo stream around 6 or 7. Throw more info out about that later. But yeah, thanks for having me. And
Gaze, curious that
yeah.
she put the baby to work too. Is the baby coloring also?
I believe so, actually. I mean, I've seen the pictures with the baby there while she's coloring. I think she's instructing the baby as we speak. So by age 2, I mean, we might have another colorist.
No, there we
and
go.
by the age of 3, the anatomy of the guinea pigs will be completely mastered.
There we go. And of course, completing the trifecta of artists, comics, everything, we've got Vinny Arts.
Hey everybody, this is Alex Jones. I love Vinny Art. He's a fantastic artist. You can catch me over on InfoWars. I'm selling iodine. I'm telling people get some sunlight. It's a good thing. But Shot of the Kraken, fantastic project. Through the Woods, that's Vinny's. Again, Drew, he's got a contact high from again those shots and everything, and the shedding. The shedding's all over the place. We gotta watch out about that stuff. But back those great projects. Go to Vinny Art. On YouTube, on Twitter, support, share, do all that great stuff. Thank you, everybody. InfoWars. You can catch me on Rogan. I pop up over there a lot. Joe's a good guy. We got him though. He was a little too far left. Now he's in Texas, and I got to talk to him, and he's on our side. It's a beautiful thing. It's good. It's good. I get rage headaches all the time. This is a good thing though. We're fighting against the demonic people. This is going to be a good thing. Love you guys.
All right, let's go to our friend Makini Draws.
Hey everybody! Thanks for stopping by. Of course, Rogue Entertainment. On Rogue Squadron here. Stop by. My channel is Makini Draws, where it's no politics, no bullshit, just straight art. We also about having fun, and it's all about art. And speaking of which, I want to say thank you to everybody who stopped by during last night's impromptu draw stream. It was a lot of fun. And tonight, after the Dark Council, which will be on Fatal J's channel, so at 8:30, right after the Dark Council, head back over here for another Draw with Maki stream, where I do whatever current work I'm on, and I put on some music and we just draw and chill. Speaking of which, turn my camera on. I will be working on this current Batman piece that I've been working on since Sunday. I'm going to try to get as much as I can done tonight. And just to let you guys know, once I finish this piece, I will put it up for sale.
It's a good bolt.
And I will put this Batman piece up for sale just for you guys. So if you guys ever, just stay tuned. Stay tuned with all my social media stuff, and I'll let you know when and how much it will be, and I will send it out and mail it, and I will mail it to you as well. So definitely check that out on Thursday. On Thursdays, of course, Thirst Days with me, Mads Bear, Rosetta Allen, where we do, where it's all about spicy art. Just whatever we can get, wherever you can get away with in terms of YouTube. So we all about the spice. And then, of course, Sunday is our main show, Machiny Live with me, Mads Bear, Bruce Lombardo, and M. Dashley, where we have some more fun. It's just fun and just draw stuff. We're going to do some fancy arts for Sunday, so definitely check that out. And just to give you guys a heads up, there will not be an episode 10 of Machiny Live Presents Rogue Entertainment. That will be on Steven's channel because it'll be his last Rogue Entertainment over this old set. However, mark your calendars, guys, because July 31st, Machiny Live Presents Rogue Entertainment will have special guest Mandy Summers on. So
nice.
Mark your calendars for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, guys, after the Dark Council tonight, head back over to my channel for watch me and chill with me as I finish this Batman piece. Thank you.
Yeah, make sure you check out Machiny's channel tonight, and he's singular talent, man. He's a great artist. One of the good people in our community, and he's a good friend. I love him.
He's one of the good ones.
Yes, he is. And we go over to Tommy. Oh, where is Tommy? Oh, there's Tommy. There we go.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Tommy in the Guinea Pig Collective. I love to talk about the old toys that we've seen, the old movies in the past, and I like to talk about some of these retro releases and some of these newer figures that are being done right, and they're showing respect to everything that we loved about all those older franchises. It's one of those things that I think we're really missing with a lot of these newer franchises that are coming out. They just don't seem to care. So my next video that I'm going to be dropping, it should be coming out later on tonight, is I'm going to be dropping a Masters of the Universe review of the new deluxe Hordak figure that came out this year. It looks really cool, and I had a lot of fun making that video, as well as the last one that I did on Galvatron. I'm eventually swinging back around, and I'm circling back around, as they like to say in the Biden administration, back to YouTube again, which I'm still not done with them and all their ridiculousness, like with people like Ord's Board. I mean, just to name one in particular, this shit with YouTube needs to be called out on the regular, and I'm going to keep doing it because you know what? Screw them bastards. LubeTube, I'm not done with you.
Yeah.
But remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent. And if you allow Hasbro to get away with what they're doing, we may wind up getting the Patreons. Thank you for your time.
And Tommy likes to call me out when I boomer stuff.
Oh, you're always boomering.
Gay Legos, gay Transformers.
All right, and we go over to one of my dearest friends, and that be Enter the Unfamiliar, aka Final Death Star, aka JJ's clone.
JJ's evil twin.
Yeah, JJ's evil twin.
Thank you, Drew, for having me on. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for hanging out with us on this, about an hour, almost 2 hour stream. We covered a lot of good topics tonight. And, we usually do more of the political stuff on your channel, Drew, which is great because it gives us all a chance to, say as much as we can say about what's going on. I mean, we want to say more, but we we can't. So it's a great opportunity to be able to do that on Tuesday's show. And I appreciate the topics you picked. They were great tonight. So thank you guys. Join me on Sunday nights. This last Sunday actually did have Drew on. My co-host flipped out of the Fandom Collective. Hail to the Fandom Collective and everything that they do to try to promote everyone in the community.
Yeah, we had Peter Hanna on.
And we had Peter Hanna on. Yeah, we went down a crazy rabbit hole, talk about aliens and politics. So you might want to check out that show. It's on the on my Enter the ETU Live playlist. So you can go back and watch that. And we'll be doing the show this Sunday as well. We're doing the show this Sunday as well. I think we might do the paranormal, more kind of ghost stuff. So ETAP, I was going to ask if you were if you want to join on. So let me know later because I know you have some crazy stories too. But yeah, thanks. So we do a show every Sunday night, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time or thereabouts. So join us.
Yeah, check out Enter the Unfamiliar on Sundays, folks. It's a great show, great program. I love being a part of that program because I am a avid follower of Unexplained Phenomena. I love talking about that stuff. And man, you know, we've had some barn burners of stories that I brought on there too. You know,
Yeah,
so,
me too. I love them. I heard the gays. The Greys are gays. That's what I heard.
All right, let's go over to the People's Champ. ATAP.
I'm here to speak on behalf of an epidemic in today's society. That is the assault of unprotected trees by Stephen Walton. If you will donate kindly, is this bulge doing anything for you, Walton? Is that doing something for you? Huh? Is that doing something for you?
He's raping the trees. Isn't that supposed to be like Julia Roberts? You know, going with
That's
that.
actually this is a close up of Amber Heard shitting on Johnny Depp's bed.
It's a great wind up. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
No, but I
join the Tree 2 movement. Join the Tree 2 movement.
Tree 2. It's hashtag Tree 2 and fight against the evil bastard Stephen Walton and his insatiable lust
Are you saying
for pines.
Are you saying Stephen's like the HW of the trees? You know, he's putting them in casting couches.
I'm actually funny that you mentioned that name because I actually have a video coming out tomorrow about Harvey Weinstein and his legal issues and things going on of the like. So yeah,
Weinstein.
That's a good that's a Stephen.
He jerked off on a vicus.
Stephen Treestein. But no, seriously, I have a video coming out about Harvey Weinstein tomorrow. You've got one. I've got a Black Widow video coming out. I've got a couple reviews I'm working on. We got the Rogue Show tomorrow night with myself, Tony, It's a Vase, and one other guest to be named. My voice is still kind of coming back. Sorry, a lot of karaoke this weekend down in Fort Wayne. It was a good fucking time, ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome, brother.
But later on, you can find me and I do. I have to give Jeff a big shout out for the fucking hat. It's dope. Yeah. I love it. It's
nice.
It's 80 degrees in my fucking office, and I was wearing that bitch most of the show. Until I was finally like, I can't do this anymore. I'm sweating. But July 30th, I've got a watch party on my channel. I'm gonna set the poll up on Twitter. That's what she said, and we're gonna pick some movies. This is the last part of the tribute we're doing to our buddy the Groovinator. We're gonna pick a movie that will be available for free on YouTube. So anybody that wants to watch along can watch along for free on YouTube. It'll probably be like Andy Sedaris movie. You're familiar with those?
Hell yeah.
Miami, those hard ticket to Hawaii types.
Boobs.
Yeah, boobs, guns, and explosions, because that's what Groove loves. So we're going to be doing that on the 30th, which is a Friday night at 9 Eastern. So, we got that coming up. And like I said, I got the Rogue Show tomorrow. I'm not going to do a morning show Thursday because I'm going back on vacation from Thursday until Sunday. I'll be back Sunday, though, and then Monday the schedule goes back to normal. This is like the month of July. Literally, I take like 3 weeks of vacation. So I'm home alone right now, which is fucking great. The wife and the kid are gone. We just got back from Indiana, and she left. I'm like, yes, I get a vacation. After the vacation, this is great. My liver and and everything else needs this. So Mazel Tov. But thank you, Drew. This has been fun. Panel, you guys are fucking all wonderful.
Dude.
Hail this chat.
I appreciate your opinions, man, because you bring it strong. You're always passionate.
I don't get to talk politics on my channel, so it's always nice to be able to to get that across. And it's also nice to be able to speak on behalf of good causes like hashtag Tree2 and keep Stephen Walton away from unprotected trees.
You're a dick.
A menace. He's a menace to the Dendrophile Society.
And remember, if you can't do anything yourself, you can always alert the local park security, and they will take care of Walton.
Go to your local park ranger and tell him Walton's on the premises. Keep him away from the trees with knot holes.
His special brew. It's splooge. Get him away from the trees. Go outside.
And with that, we bring on, the man of the hour, our friend Stephen Walton.
Dicks. All of them.
Hey, I didn't do anything.
So, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Please check out, let's see, the Wednesday Dump is tomorrow on Spork News Podcast, Going in Rogue on ETEP's channel. ETEP Coon and Place to Be Reviews. Check out Red Gaze promoting independent creators on Thursday. And then please come and check out Rogue Entertainment on my channel this weekend. Last time from the studios will be the last thing I break down is everything around me you see here. See Dump and Bear will be on later that night. Also on Thursdays, on Sundays, check out Under the
Steve, we forgot on Wednesday, Whatever Wednesday with Wes.
Whatever Wednesday with Wes. My bad. Whatever was blah, blah. Yes, what he said. And then on Sunday, please check out Enter the Unfamiliar. He's got a great show on there. Usually we're running with Flipped Out, Hail the Fandom Collective, and Vinny Tardamella. Got a show for independent creators on that night as well. So please, got a lot of variety, a lot of different channels.
And what do we have on Thursday, Steven?
The Pegasus Actual Podcast that I never see because I'm just working, and I hate that. God, I've been on that show. We've been covering that since season 1, and I hate missing that, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it's all good, man.
I can't see comics on Monday or Thursday now, so I'm missing the Dix division over there too.
Mm-hmm. Well, Steven, I'm going to be doing one on Fridays now as well. I'm going to do Fridays and Sundays now.
Okay, we're going to have a calendar where I can just read them off and try not to forget every single one. Thank you guys so much for being here. Remember, support your independent creators out there. Every book sold is a middle figure to an industry that hates you and want to indoctrinate your kids and cause hate and division. Please check out all the wonderful people.
Hail, Brian the Improver.
What's up, Brian? And yeah, guys, just remember, wash your hands, wash your ass, and be good to each other. Peace.
The frog is gay.
I wanted to give a shout out to Brian. Hey Brian, get in touch with me, dude, because you and I need to talk about bringing back sickestofall.com.
You know, you want to touch an Asian too.
Do that. But
if you've been touched by an Asian, please call the law offices of Lee Sokolov at 1-888 touched by an Asian.
Hey, honestly, folks, listen, the reason I do what I do, it's about Old Glory and the background behind me, and thinking about the things that my father fought for and the reason he's buried in Arlington National Cemetery. And I won't stop fighting for that. I will not stop fighting for that. I will, be on here. I will say what I want to say. I will, try to bring you the truth. I will try to get down to the bottom of just whatever they are trying to do to us to destroy our society and our country. And I am going to be on the front lines of that. Wes Moody's on the front lines of that. Most of these gentlemen on my panel are on the front lines of that, and they're doing it all in their own ways. That's the beauty of Rogue Entertainment. That's the beauty of the group we have together. That's the beauty of you, the chat. We are all fighting a war for the right to exist, but more importantly, for the right to get back our culture. And we're going to do that.
God bless.
We're going to do that, folks. I promise you we are going to win. We all just need to keep doing what we're doing, and we are going to win. And more people are waking up every day, folks. And I promise you, I will continue to be on the front lines of that fight. Now, make sure that you catch Pegasus Actual, as Steven said, on Thursdays. And also, I have High Heresy streams every so often on the weekends. And make sure every Tuesday that you catch the Rogue Squadron here on the Supreme Heretic channel. And I might have some other stuff in the works. I'm definitely have to get with Culture Casino because we discussed getting some merch together, some personalized merch for me, because I know a lot of people were talking about possible T-shirts, things like that. I kind of have a good T-shirt concept in mind I want to get together, so I just have to sit down with somebody as far as a logo graphic and see what we can come up with. So we'll I'll let you guys know what's going on that front, and then I'll probably move forward with putting together a Teespring or something, because I know people do want merch. So we'll get that together. But listen, folks, until next time, keep the hope up. And I know right now things are pretty sick.
They think it's right to murder. They want to murder. Look at all the people, and they get a kick out of it. A sexual kick out of it. The whole thing, I think it's sick.
think it's